big hello and a very warm welcome to Brand Equity with me, Sonali Krishna. This is a Brand Equity special because I have very interesting guests today. All of them are under 30 and extremely successful, so much so that it makes me feel like a loser. But on that note, I'm going to introduce my three guests. I have Madan, Niharika and Raj, all three big-time influencers, YouTubers, and really Gen Z. So I'm hoping to have some candid speak with them and understand how they see the world of brands and what their view of the world and generally India is. So let me start with you, Madan. 29?
28.
28. About to turn 29.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you are a YouTuber and you do anything and everything. You comment on anything that's a current issue, right?
Yeah, if I want to, yeah.
Right. And when did you start this?
I started before 5 years.
Okay, 5 years ago. So were you working somewhere?
When I started, I was in my college,
Okay.
final year. And then when I was working, I also was making videos. And then suddenly there was a time when I was earning more from my videos than my work. So I quit and became a full-time creator.
And so you come from a middle class background?
Yeah.
How did your parents take to this great idea of becoming an influencer? I'm sure they didn't understand it.
Yeah, they didn't understand it at the first. But then, when people started, when my mom goes to office, right, her colleagues tell her that I saw your son talking about this and that. She felt proud. And that was happy for my parents. So yeah, that has been cool ever since.
And they're happy with your career choice.
Yes. Now, I'm myself happy. So my parents are satisfied that I make better money than what I was making in a corporate company.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And Niharika, you're all of 24,
Yes.
right? Just come back from LA. And how long have you been YouTubing?
Since I was 17, I started out on YouTube when I was doing my engineering and computer science.
Wow.
I just hated what I was doing, but I was really good at it because my parents said I can only make videos if I do this.
Oh.
Typical South Indian parents. So I did
really?
both. Yeah, I did both because I was like, मेरे को ये करना है तो ये भी करूँगी. Then I did my MBA because it's the rite of passage because I won't get married otherwise, right? According to them. And I graduated last month, so here I am back to visit the fam jam.
And you're going to go back?
Mostly, but I'm going to keep coming back.
Right. And what's your life looking like now? What's your life aspiration? To continue to be a YouTuber?
Yes, I guess, but also I want to try and see what else I can do in the content space because I think we can only do so much for a couple of years and I don't know what I'm going to do after that. So I'm trying to figure out what my life map is. I'm trying to Sherlock it and mind map it and see what I'm going to do. But right now I'm just having fun.
So what is your content on?
I do comedy.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do relatable videos on Instagram. I rant a lot. All of my issues are just out there because
Is it like a personal experience what you are
yeah,
bothered
just
about?
anything. Yeah, like a waiter doesn't put 4 ice cubes and puts 5 instead. That is not what I rant about at all.
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
just joking. No, if like my mom yells at me for like not finishing homework, that'll be a whole sketch. Like with her like swinging the broom Rajini style, like over exaggerated sketches, but so fun for me. If you like it, please watch it.
And you're making a lot of money too.
Enough to make my parents feel okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're okay with you being out there and YouTubing and
They're okay now because I finished everything they asked me to. Yeah, 2 degrees. Now
you have
what
to get
else
married,
can
no?
I do? Yeah. See, that is a little bit, we'll see. We'll play it by ear. I'll say next year and say no to all the pictures that come. I have my own game to play with them. Mind games I'll play. And then I'll be like, yeah, whatever you say, but not him.
interesting. And Raj, when I read about you, it says you're a businessman and you're all of what, 25?
Yeah,
And
I just turned 25, yeah.
yeah. And so what business do you do?
There are multiple businesses which I do. I started with making dishwash gels, then started a speaking business, then started an agency. Then
What age was this?
I started my first business when I was right out of school at 16. So I applied. The story is I wanted to do something in FMCG because I felt like that's the place where you can understand audience and directly you can come up with like better results and you don't have to actually influence like few people, you just have to just understand the people. So I wanted to do something there. But for that I thought let me get experience and applied to like 70, 80 companies And as a 16-year-old, nobody gave me an internship. In fact, nobody replied. Like all these like big ITC, HULs, PNG, I applied to everyone, nobody replied. So the obvious option was, let me try to figure out something and start doing myself. Once I started doing it, and though I come from a background where I generally didn't know like what to do with the money which was coming in, because we never had an exposure of actually like spending
But
it
where was the
lavishly.
money coming in from?
From the dishwash gel. I started at 16, and by 17, I think year one only we made like more than 1 crore of profit.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Can
as
I
a
get in on your
17-year-old
dishwasher? No. I would also like
What was
to
it
join.
called?
drop dishwash gel. So my father used to run a detergent business and chemical trading business, and his brand was Jadugar.
Okay.
So I just started an extension like Jadugar's Drop to like take his audience and my audience together and try to fill it out. So it worked out well, and then I just started reinvesting in multiple businesses because I get bored very easily.
Okay.
So then I started another and another, and today I think I realized after a couple of years that I can't do everything. So it's better that I just start investing in a couple of businesses rather than doing them.
So you're what? You're a angel investor.
Yes. So now I'm an angel in I think 21 companies.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, this interview is making me feel very bad about
Yeah,
myself.
me too actually. I'm just discovering all of this. Wow.
And when did you start making videos?
I started making videos. Seriously, I started doing it last year.
Oh, you're a child of the pandemic.
Yeah, I am. So, but I had like 100K followers before that also.
How?
Because I was speaking around the world. I was representing India at UN. I was a youth rep for India for social entrepreneurship. So I used to speak there. And all the speeches which I was giving around the world, I used to put that as content.
Right.
But not very often strategically. I started doing that during the pandemic. And pandemic made me realize that I want to do content. But my biggest problem was that I can't look in the camera. Right? Look, I can't look right now. It makes me nervous. So what I
Look
did.
at me.
So similar, what I did, I made my manager sit there and started talking, and then we kept the camera there.
Okay.
And then those were the videos we started putting. And even today, like I don't look in the camera, I'm just talking to my team, and we put that as content.
And your content is all about business, and
Business,
startups.
leadership, finance, crypto. So I am like genuinely like a curious kid who would read about everything around business world. So if I read it and I find it fascinating, I tell my team, hey, you know what, मैं तुम्हें बताता हूँ कैसे होता है ये सब. And while I'm explaining that, we put it out as content. Like even right now, he's recording. So I would put this for some of these clips and use it as content.
So let me get to the part of you guys being young content creators. You're making money off all the digital behemoths that you're partnering with. Are you also interacting with brands?
Yeah.
So give me a sense of what your brush with brands has been like.
So I'll tell you how I started choosing brands. The brands and startups which I really loved, I started reaching out to their founders and CEOs, told them like, let's have a conversation. I just want to talk and understand what you're about.
How did you get the access?
Instagram. If you have like, let's say, that's the best part about Instagram. I think all of us would agree to this, that if you have considered like decent amount of following, I
People
think
take you
mostly
seriously.
people will follow you back or maybe just reply you at least. So you would reply, you text them, they'd reply, we start conversation, and then I like pitch them swooply, you know what, I would love to become like an influencer for you, should I help you out? Few people agree, few don't. Who don't agree, I do things for free for them, so
Wow.
that till the time they actually see traction, once they see the traction, then I end up doing like long-term deals with them. So this is how I choose. Most of my long-term collaborations are like this.
Okay. And how about you?
I've had a manager since I was 16. I was his first talent. He wasn't a manager, I wasn't a talent. We both grew together, and he handles the started getting brands and everything. And I just feel like the lockdown was really a good time for my comedy career. It really took off, and we didn't have to approach brands. We had to kind of fend off too many brands. So great place to be in. Work with amazing brands that I really, really like, that I'm a fan of. Even before they approach me, I would be like, oh my god, like I would love to work with them because I'm obsessed with you anyway. So that's how I pick and choose my brands, and it's been great.
Yeah.
Unless they try to control the narrative of my script, that's when I'm like,
That's what I want to come to next, but let
Yeah.
me first hear from Madan.
Yeah, it's the same. I have my management team, right? So they bring brands. So I'm very picky about what I represent or what I integrate in my content.
What is your criteria?
Like I will never do a lottery ad. I will never do some app that's gimmicky or something where you have to play rummy and you can earn. I mean, I will never
So
do
basically
that.
gambling, you're against gambling.
Not just gambling, alcohol, cigarettes. I think it's not just me. It's like almost all of my state. You can't be famous and you can't endorse these products that people are not cool with. So I'm very picky about those things. And again, when I endorse a particular product, I make sure that I use the product and I like the product. Otherwise, I don't do it. But when
Really?
and when I actually recommend a product, I have never had a complaint till date. So that's my track record.
Oh wow, that's pretty ethical. Is that the way you guys look at brands as well?
So I operate in a space which is finance, investing. Like I can't be telling people about shitty apps which can take their money and run away. So I have to be very cautious. Even though if I don't want to be, let's say in some world, I still would have to be, because it'll be at the end of the day, like common people would be putting their money through those apps. So it'll be very unethical if I don't check it myself.
And you?
I don't do brands like that at all.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
stick to the entertainment space. I'm like, watch this show on Netflix, it's great. Watch this show on Amazon Prime Video, it's great. Very lighthearted.
And again, you have to be careful about that too. Recommend the right shows.
Of course, like not scandalous ones, very like homey, like, wholesome ones. I'm like, watch this and then watch my videos because the same vibe.
Okay, fair enough. So I guess that's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to know, look, I'm so happy to hear from young kids like you that you all are actually being ethical about your brand selection, because look at your celebrities, right? They do anything and everything for money. And your biggest celebrities, most respected celebrities, even old men will do pan parak, pan masala, you name it, they'll do it as long as that they're getting the money. So it's refreshing to see young kids like you who are setting about your career, but being more ethical about your selection. That's refreshing. Having said that, let me move next to when brands collaborate with you. What do you think are the key pain points for you as creators and ideators when you deal with them? See, the people you deal with will also be older, from a different generation. And so there will be a difference in the way they look at the world and the way you look at the world, right? But you are the future. Do you think that they're open-minded enough to take your ideas, or is it a tough negotiation in terms of how they want you to approach it, the scripting? Because I just did a session with Ayo Shraddha, and she was telling me that, that these brands live in a completely different realm compared to the real world. So I'm curious to know, what is your experience?
I think it comes with, when an integration comes from a startup, it's very easy to integrate with them, because most of the people working in the startup understands what we are. Mostly they're following our content already. So they know what we do and how we do it. When a traditional brand gets into the game, right, I understand the brand is putting money, but more than that, they are putting their brand with us. It's a big thing for a traditional brand. Similarly, when a creator is going to integrate with a brand, he's putting all his credibility along with the brand.
Right.
So as much as the brand has to lose, the creator also has things to lose and also to gain.
Sure.
So I think it's a tough negotiation there. But I think the product is always good, because we need that negotiation from the traditional brand, because that sharpens what we do.
Okay. Anybody with a contra view here?
I don't think all brands are like that. I genuinely think there are some brands whose marketing team is evolved enough to tell them that no, we should let them do this and we should let them do that, which is why we have successful marketing campaigns, because otherwise influencer marketing itself would just not flourish. But yes, there are uptight brands who just be like, no, do it this way, and you're like, but it won't work this way, and they're like, no, but like you have to. So there's that push and pull, but there is also like an evolved side of brands, a few at least, that I could even name on my fingertips, which I won't, because you need to pay me money for that. Yeah, it's like both ways. Some of them are actually truly evolved.
Okay. Now, talking about influencer marketing, right? And we're hearing so much of it. It's a buzzword, and most brands, without understanding what it can do for them, are jumping onto the bandwagon, right? There are so many influencers. And I know you guys have a great following and a unique following. But don't you think, just like, for instance, I'm a consumer, and if I see a celebrity endorsing a brand on TV, I don't believe it, right? I know the game. All of us know the game. We're not naive anymore. So whether you have a Kareena Kapoor or you have a, Katrina Kaif, I know it's a paid partnership, and they're just doing, it's an alternate source of revenue. But do you think when your followers see that, that your brand is getting a bit diluted?
I tell you, I'll put you in phases, okay?
Yeah, sure.
So first is usual when this influencer size is small, like you're just starting to do brands and stuff. At that time, it goes pretty organic with your brand. So whatever you do, most of the time people believe and they don't find it like very salesy enough. But once you're like established and you've been doing, let's say 50 brands already, now the audience knows that it's brand. But at that time, the point is not whether you'll be able to do it without being salesy. The point is, are you able to make them stay? So why most of the brands would pay us or any celebrity is like they would not pay because they know that Katrina Kaif is selling, let's say, XYZ product, it's salesy. But they would pay Katrina Kaif because just because there's Katrina Kaif, people would stop and click on it. So that clickability is what everybody brings. So that's what we all bring in the table as well.
Yes. But tell me, when you put up, let's say you do a brand collaboration, you'll have something called paid partnership, right, on top? Or do you do it organically? No, you can't.
You can't. Yeah.
Paid partnership. So when you do a paid partnership, are your followers questioning you on why you're doing this paid partnership?
I think followers are smart enough to understand it's a revenue source. But again, see, even coming to traditional media, there are three cons, big cons in Bollywood. I think when you see an advertisement with Amir Khan, you would trust that more than you see with Shah Rukh Khan. And I can say this because I'm not from, Hindi heartland. I can tell this
Sure,
out.
yeah,
So
of
the
course,
thing
go
is,
for
because Amir Khan appears in less number of ads compared to Shah Rukh Khan. When you see Shah Rukh Khan, you know he's getting paid and he's doing it. When you see Amir Khan in an ad, you have this kind of trustability a bit more because he has created an image that he is not going to recommend something wrong.
And he's a thinking actor.
Exactly. So same thing comes down to creator economy too. If you are a creator who is going to post one integration every day, I don't think people are going to take you seriously, and even brands won't take you seriously in a long time.
Yeah.
You should be very picky about the brands you integrate with and should actually deliver them quality over quantity.
I have a slightly different opinion here because let's say audience come for a story. If you're giving them what they're coming for, even if you're promoting a product, they don't mind at all. It's, let's say,
How you do it.
So how you do it is the game, right? Audience is coming here for, let's say, 30 seconds of education or entertainment or inspiration. Are you delivering that? If you're delivering that, doesn't matter what product you do. Because at the end of the day, even with Bollywood, I slightly disagree with this point. There may be few brands where Amir Khan would be more relevant, but people know that when he's promoting a phone, it's an ad.
Yeah.
It's not about trust at all. He's getting paid a lot. So it's about every actor, it's about everyone. It's just the content which makes it relevant. And with the face on it, which is more recognizable, people stay for longer than they would stay on someone else's ad. That's the only difference. That's what I feel.
So what is the monthly income one makes as a creator?
Depends.
So give me a rough ballpark.
It all depends on categories usually.
Okay.
And also depends on their following.
Right.
I don't know about entertainment or the infotainment. I come in
But
more
again,
like
different parts of
infotainment,
the
educational
country.
kind of.
Yeah.
So it generally depends on month and it depends on different categories.
That's no answer.
So if you want me to put in numbers, I would say a decent would be 10ish is under 10 is what you can like easily make.
Under 10 what?
Lakhs a
Oh.
month you can make if you are doing like a very good engaged community around, for example,
10 lakhs a
infotainment.
month?
Yeah.
What am I doing with my life?
But it sounds very easy.
I
You
know.
literally need to, have 30 sleepless nights in order to get that check on 31st night for 10 lakh rupees.
I just feel like the 10 lakhs paycheck sounds good, but then you'll have 7 years of unpaid work, and everybody saying, what are you doing, get an actual job. So if you're able to get past all that, you need to get to a comfortable position to make that kind of money. Otherwise it's chump change, it's not even pocket money. I can promise you that much.
Tell me, how did you guys work on becoming a brand? Because it's hard work to get so many followers, become popular, get your captive followers and audience. What does it take for you guys?
I had a advantage because I studied digital marketing. It was part of my master's. So yeah, I just made my YouTube channel into a real life project.
Give some information, huh?
I did my digital marketing.
That's fine. What is it that you learned that you're doing?
See, Instagram, so first basic thing is when I started making YouTube videos, I thought of one thing. This is going to be my personal vlog channel. I really didn't think of it becoming a brand or anything.
Oh.
What I thought was, see, earlier there used to be a social media called Orkut, and I was in school when I was trying to get into it. But when finally I got into Orkut, when I had the age to be on Orkut, and when I got to Orkut, people started moving to Facebook. So finally, when I started moving to Facebook, Facebook was already full. So this happens to every social media that I move to. So I thought, let me go to YouTube first before anyone comes. And I started posting, and then immediately after a month, the Geo happened, and yeah, boom.
Wow. Okay. Give me some insight into how the
I tell you
brand
how.
creation happens for you all.
See, at the end, what's first you have to like break down. It's just like any other brand, right? The brand is trust reinstilled again and again, right? So you have to be this trustable figure who's reinstilling this in the audience mind again and again, right? So I asked myself a question: like, if Raj Chamani is here in 2022, what would Raj Chamani look like in 2023 to an average person who's watching my content today? So what's the identity we want to portray? Based on that, then we reverse engineer what we really need to do. Let's say I'm very passionate about financial freedom, that everybody should get off their parents' payroll and start earning their own money. Once they start doing, but how they can do that. So that is the process, and that I want to be known for that. So then this is the identity which I want. Now what am I doing in order to make my audience believe that this is what I really stand for and this is where I can help them? That is the question which I ask myself, and based on that I create my content. So I think more than the brand strategy is the brand identity which a normal consumer or normal content creator should ask.
Okay, I have a simple question. When you started, obviously you had 0 followers, right? And then what have you done on a sustained basis for you to become a brand? Because you started from 0. So give me that insight.
I have a simple answer. You just try really, really hard to make an audience like you, and you try everything that you possibly can. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. All the breaking brand, all of this is an afterthought. After you get to a point where you've impressed at least someone, where you care enough to make one brand and one equity and one whole, like, you know, all these fancy terms that they're throwing around. You just try really hard to make an audience like you. You're just a people pleaser on the internet, striving for validation. Once you find your community, then you're like, okay, these are my people. How do I keep them? And then you go on reinventing
How do you
yourself.
get them in the first place? How do they chance upon you?
You just try really hard. Like
You
whatever
make
it is you're
yourself
passionate
available to
about,
them.
you try to find the tribe that is passionate about the same things that you're passionate about. For example, I do comedy and I do relatable comedy. And people who go through the same things, they're like, oh my God, I can relate. Like, I feel you. And they're like, oh my God, like, you're just like us. You're like our friend. And that's how they relate to me. And we become like this small little cult or like a tribe, and we just support each other, and we're always like, you know, like we become besties. And with infotainment, I guess it's more knowledge based, right? They're learning something from it. With me, they're more like, oh, she's a friend, you know? It's just a relationship you build with your audience, and you just try really hard to keep them there and to make them love you. And you keep reinventing yourself every single day because we genuinely don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
So how does an average day look like?
You get up, you read about all the stuff in the world, you then talk to your team, take certain business decisions, then in the middle of it you realize, oh shit, this, I wish I would have done it this way. And on that, oh shit, you make a content and then you share it with the world. That's what I do at least.
Every day?
Yeah. So
And
I have
what about
a,
your
I was
team?
saying,
How big is your team?
in the content space, my team is 12 people.
Like you pay them salaries?
Yeah. 12 people on regular salaries, yeah.
I'm a solo creator, and for me the way of, I go by more brute force to make myself known to people, so I post videos every day. And
Not me.
so I have posted videos for 1,200 days continuously,
Every day?
every day, one video. And so my day is pretty much, it's always, you know, I have some kind of content always running in my mind backdrop. So when the time comes, I just shoot and I upload. So, and I do all that by myself. So
Alone?
Yeah.
One man army?
Yeah, actually it's more efficient. I mean,
I
to
agree.
each their own. So, but to me it's very efficient because I need not depend on someone's
He's like
brain.
running a small company here. And you?
I write, shoot, edit everything by myself.
Every day?
Yeah.
Every day?
Not every day, like whenever I feel like it. A couple
How
of
often
times
do
a
you
week.
feel like it?
A couple of times a week. Now I don't have a choice. Now it's not when I feel like it, it's when my manager asks me to at this point. I'm kidding. I just have to be consistent because irrelevancy is this quick, so you have to be consistent with what you do. And now that I've graduated, I don't have an excuse. I can't be like exams. They'll be like, what exams? I don't have an answer. So now I'm like, okay, this is my grind. I have to get into it.
So is it easy to come up with concepts every day?
See, that's why I'm in infotainment space, because something is always happening in the world.
Yeah,
It's
tough,
just like news channel. Something is going to be there every day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
even
for
then
you,
it
for
gets like
instance,
very
I mean,
tough.
Yeah.
Every day or
Not every day. I do struggle a lot sometimes because I'm
Yeah.
like, how do I make this even more? Because I've done this before and done that before, but that's the fun of it, right? Like, that's like trying to rack your brain for something creative out of nothing is the fun of it. And since I do observational comedy, I just like observe people when I'm out of content and I just take that. Now I could totally turn you into a character, but an exaggerated version, right? Where you won't even know it's about you, but I know
if
that you
do
are my
it,
muse.
At least send me a copy.
Of course I will. I will send you the script.
No. Have your freedom. So, just to understand, all of your young 20-somethings, what's the plan for the future? Like, for instance, when I was a 20-something, I was working at a job and my plan in life was to keep working and hopefully rise the ladder. And, you know, that was my very average aspiration of life. What is yours?
That was my plan too until last month, like get a nice desk job, like, you know, live a nice life where I get to go to these kitty parties later on in the future after I get married and 2 babies. But right now I have no idea what I'm doing, so I'm just like letting it be. And I like that I don't have a plan because I feel like my whole life has been planned by everybody else and now I get to not have a plan and it's actually very exciting.
Wow.
Same. If you asked what Madan Gauri wanted before 5 years, I would have said the maximum goal I had was to buy a car before I turned 30. That was the biggest dream.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
To buy my own car, you know, without depending on my family. But I was able to do it at 26. So yeah, ever since life has been very unpredictable. You know, when something big happens, right, I'm surprised myself, like, oh, this is happening to me. Like, is this really happening? Before I realize that something else, negative or positive, something will always be happening. So you just ride the tide.
Imposter syndrome.
What's your plan? How many more businesses? You're already like a, you know, angel investor at 25. I mean, I'm just shocked.
I don't know. Same with these. I run a podcast called Figuring Out, and the entire podcast is about actually get to meet like the top 1% entrepreneurs in the country, and then I sit down with them and try to figure out what really needs to be done. So for me also, it's figuring out right now. I know the next step. I don't know 10 steps later.
Sure. Okay, closing question. I want 3 of you, each one give me 1 point you would like to tell brands to change and when they collaborate with you as creators. Like, give them 1 tip each.
Trust the creator. The creator knows what you really want. Just convey to them what you want rather than how you want it. You give them the what, they will give you the best content possible and the best integration possible, because it's also work for them and you have to repeatedly come to them. So it's just like a hotel. Give them the best food, they will come back again.
Okay.
Don't write a script from my perspective. I'm right here. I'll write it for you from my own perspective.
Don't treat all of us in the same way, because we all are genuinely very, very different. We all come with different narrative, different brands, different script writing skills. So it's very different to work with her or me or him. So, but like most of the brands, they choose, oh, these are the 10 people we're going to control our narrative with, or these are the 20 people. Don't do that at all. Everybody is different.
Okay, on that note, I'm going to tell you that this has been thoroughly enjoyable. I swear after this interview, I have an inferiority complex, but I hope to come and get trained by you to start making my own content one day when I decide to become a creator.
You will become an instant hit, I can already say. All 3 of us would agree.
No, you're trained, no? You're trained. You're media
You're very
trained to do all of
candid,
this.
and that's what internet wants. So you will be a hit.
Thank you so much and all the very best. And here's more luck, more power, and more success coming your way as you travel the journey of life. Thank you so much.